Good evening. I just want to check if you guys can hear me before I start with the session. If you are new to this session, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. This channel is going to be the one that is going to help you on most of the topics that you are doing in accounting. Today we are going to focus on markup on cost and markup on selling price. And please let your friends know that we are live now. If they want to learn, they can join us here. Just comment on the chat there if you guys can hear me. Those who are live with me right now, just comment if you can hear me. And if you can hear me, you can click the like button right there. You can just click the like button if you can hear me. I'm about to start with the session. I'm just waiting for your like and then I'm starting. Yes, I see there are people that are responding that they can hear me. Please just put a like button. Just click the like button right there. Click the like button right there. I'm about to start with the session. Everything on my side is fine. My volume is fine. Everything is just fine on my side. If you can't hear me, I don't know, but I believe people can hear me and can hear me clearly, and they can hear me very, very well. So right now I'm going to start by trying to explain to you markup on cost. Markup on cost, because we've got two types of markup. We've got markup on selling and markup on cost. So right now I'm going to focus on markup on cost. So markup on cost price. Markup on cost price. So markup on cost price, in order for you to understand how you calculate certain figures, you need to firstly know that when markup is on cost price, the cost price is equals to 100%. When markup is on cost price, right? When markup is on cost price, the cost price is equal to 100%, right? So what does it mean by this? Before you do any calculations of markup, you need to determine the percentages. You need to know the amount given, right? So let's say they say to you sold goods. Let's say the transaction comes to you and say you sold goods, right? Sold goods for let's say for 2,500 rand, with a markup of 25%, 25%, on cost. 25% on cost, right? So now so they give you the selling price. So the selling price is 2,500, and then the markup is 25% on cost, right? So for you to determine the figures that are missing, here, because you need to determine the percentages. You need to determine the percentages, right? So why this thing is doing this? You need to determine the percentages. So let's just do this. Sorry for that. Let me just do this. I'll use the font to 80. Okay, so now let's say you need to determine the percentages first, where you're gonna have to say why these things like this? I don't know what's happening here. Let me just fix this quickly. We'll proceed. Okay, so I don't know what's happening here. Okay, so let's say you have to determine the cost price, you have to determine the selling, the markup, you also have to determine the selling price, right? So now the cost price, because remember the principle says when the markup is on cost price, the cost price is equal to 100. So number one, you need to determine the cost price in percentage, which is 100%, right? And then the markup is given, which is 25%, and then the selling price, it has to be 125%. 125%. So what does it mean? Cost price is going to be the amount. Cost price is the amount you buy stock with or you produce with, right? So cost price, let's say if I'm gonna explain in this way for better understanding. Let's say cost price, let's say you are selling oranges, so you buy at a cost of 100%, you add a profit of 25%, it means you wanna sell at 125%. So in this case of the example that I'm giving, they have given you the selling price. The selling price is equal to, in rent value, it's equal to 2,500, right? So it means selling price is 125 in percentage, which is equivalent to 2,500. So your responsibility in this question or in this example is for you to calculate the rent value of the markup or profit, because the markup is also known as the profit or the percentage of the profit. So we need the profit in rent. Let me just do this. We need the profit in rent value here, right? So the rent value of the profit, and we also need the rent value of the cost price, right? So how are we going to calculate the rent value of the two, right? We're going to use my formula that I'm used to, that I think I can make you understand better, right? So in order for you to do the calculation for this, you are going to use this formula. right? The formula says the rent value you have multiplied by the percentage for the amount you are looking for or you want, divided by the percentage for the amount you have. The percentage for the amount you have. What does this mean? You're gonna look at this and check, okay, the rent value I have, let's say we are calculating cost price. The rent value you have here is 2,500, okay? And then you want to calculate what? The cost price. The cost price percentage that you want is 100%. So it means you have to multiply by 100. You divide by the percentage for this 2.5. The percentage for this 2,500 is 125%. So you're going to divide by 125%. Okay? And then how much is your cost price right there? Quickly, just give me the cost price on the chart or on the comment right there. Just quickly give me the answer. How much is the answer right there?
2,000.
The answer is 2,000 rand. People are getting 2,000 rand right there. I see on the chart. People are getting 2,000 rand. So that is your cost price. So your cost price is 2,000. And then now we have to go and calculate. We have to go and calculate what? The profit in rent or the markup in rent, right? So you have to say the rent value we have, which is 2,500. You multiply by what do you want? You want 25% out of 125, which is 25% is the percentage you want, that you want to calculate in rent, and 125 is the percentage for the amount you have, which is 2.5, right? So how much is your profit right there? How much is your profit right there? Quickly on the charts. Hello, I'm waiting for the answer. I'm waiting for the answer, guys. On the chat right there, how much is the answer? Can I have everyone participating? I know some of you are in the blankets because it's cold.
500.
The answer for profit is 500. So this is how you do it in terms of the bag. And say, let's say or assume that you sold goods for, if you sold goods and then you sold goods and let's say you sold goods and made a profit. You sold goods and made a profit of 500, right? So if you sold goods and made a profit of 500 with a cost price of 25, with a 25% markup on cost, 25%, let's say markup here. Let's say sold goods and made a profit of 500 with 25% markup on cost, right? So it means in this case, remember the formula does not change, okay? The formula remains the same. But this time I'm saying to you, you have this, you don't have this, and you don't have this. But you've got a profit of 500. That means your responsibility is to calculate the cost price 100% in rent value and the selling price 125% in rent value, right? You are still going to follow the formula, but your rent value, the rent value that you have this time is going to be the 500. So what you must do, you must say 500, which is the rent value you have, multiply by what do you want? Let's say you want to calculate a cost. You're gonna say 100 divided by the percentage of the 500 that you have, which is 25. Divide by 25. How much are you getting right there as your cost price? How much is the cost price? Quickly give me the amount right there. Do the calculations and give me the answer. I'm just waiting for the answer right now. And those who are new to this channel, please do not forget to subscribe, like and share. You are getting 2000. You see now you are back at 2000, but remember the formula that you must use is the one that says the rent value you have multiplied by the percentage for the amount you want divided by the percentage for the amount you have, which is going to be your cost price of 2000 rent. See now, so I don't think this is difficult, right? And then now we also have to calculate the cost, the selling price. I mean to say we need to calculate the selling price. So the selling price is going to be 500, which is the amount you have, multiplied by the percentage for the amount you want, which is 125. You divide by 25, because 25 is the percentage of the amount you have, right? You divide by 25. Okay, and then now how much is your selling price right now? Quickly, how much is your selling price right there? Quickly, 2500. I see 2500 right there. Okay, you see now, so it's very easy like this. And then now you see we are back at the same amounts, just that in accounting you need to know how to go forward, backward and center. You also have to know how to go up and down, right? So now this is how you do it. And then let's say tomorrow the question gonna say sold goods, right? Sold goods that cost 2000, right? I don't know if you follow. 2000, right? Let's say you sold goods that costed you 2000 when you purchased them at 25% markup on cost. Let's say the question comes like this: sold goods that cost 2000 at 25% markup on cost. So now it means in this case you have 2000 right there. You have got 2000. You don't have this, you don't have this, and then you must calculate the rent value for the two. You must calculate the rent value for the two, right? So let's see. So how are you going to calculate this? You are going to say 2000, which is the rent value you have, multiply by what do you want. Let's say you want to calculate profits 25%. You want to say 25 out of 100, right? Which is, we are following this formula where it says the rent value you have, which is 2000, multiplied by the percentage for the rent value you want, which is 25. You want the rent value for this, and then divide by the percentage for the amount you have. When I say divide by the percentage for the amount you have, it means you divide by the percentage of 2000. The percentage of 2000 is 100. So you see I divide by 100 right there. And then now how much is your answer? How much is your answer right there? Quickly. $500. Okay, 500 is our answer, okay, which is going back to our profit of 500 right there. And then now we are also going to calculate our profit, our selling price. I meant to say we are going to calculate our selling price. We're going to see the amount we have is 2000, right, multiply by what we want the selling price. So the percentage of what we want is 125, which is the selling price, divided by the percentage for the amount we have, which is going to be 100, because the amount we have is 2000 and is our cost price, and is equals to 100%. That's why we divide by 100 there, and we want 125. Okay, and then how much is your answer right there? Quickly, I'm just doing this so that you master how to go forward, backward, and center. Okay, so let's just comply. Don't be impatient with how I do things. Just try to learn and follow. It's 2.5. You see, we're back at our selling price of 2.5. Okay, right, and then now we are fine with this markup on cost, I believe, because I want to move to markup on cost right now. So before we move, I want us to learn how to calculate the percentage when the markup is on cost like this. So if you want to calculate the percentage, maybe you want to check how they did it, the percentage of markup percentage, how to calculate markup percentage when the markup is on cost, how to calculate markup percentage, how to calculate markup percentage when markup is on cost price. When markup is on cost price. Okay, so how do we calculate the percentage when the markup is on cost price? We're gonna say selling, the formula says selling price less cost price divided by cost price, right, divided by cost price, multiply by 100, right? So let's say, for example, we want to calculate this 25%, right? We must be given the selling price. So the selling price there is 2,500 minus our cost price, which is 2,000, and then you divide by 2,000, right? So let's see, and then it's equal to, obviously 2,500 minus 2,000 is equals to 500, right? Divide by 2,000, and then remember you have to multiply by 100 because you need percentage. So you're gonna multiply by 100 right there, and then the final answer would be how much right there? Let's see if we are getting 25%. Let's just confirm if we are getting 25%. Let's just confirm if we are getting 25% quickly. Let's put in the charts quickly right there. And those who are new, please don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe and share. We are getting 25%. So this is how you calculate percentage of the markup when you This is how you calculate the percentage of the markup when the markup is on cost. I hope you got this one, right? So now I hope you are fine with markup on cost. So I want us to go to markup on selling. I want us to go to markup on selling price. Markup on selling price, I'm just gonna say is number 2, and then we are going to say we're going to do markup on selling price. Markup on selling price. So when the markup is on selling price, the selling price is equals to 100%. I hope you got that. Let me just indicate that quickly. We're still going to deal with this table here, so in the meantime, let me just take it down right there. Okay, and then let us just deal with this one. Okay, so markup on costs price, on selling price, I mean to say, when markup is on selling price, when markup is on selling price, selling price is equal to 100% this time. So now when markup is on selling price, the selling price is equal to 100%. Okay, so now I want to go into an example. Let's say they say to you sold goods for 1,000 rand. Right, you sold goods for 1,000 rand at 30% markup on selling price. Okay, now you need to calculate. Remember I said the first thing you must do is to determine the cost price percentage, the markup percentage, the selling price percentage. That's what you must do. Okay, so we are just gonna follow the principle and the understanding of it. Okay, so now this time when you do this, remember it has to be markup is on selling price is equals to 100%. Okay, and then markup given 30%. Okay, and then remember, before I go there, remember, let's say for example, before, just to for clear explanation, let's say you are selling tomatoes, and one tomato is equal to 7 rand, 5 rand. Let's say one tomato is you stock with 5 rand, and then cost price, I'm talking about the rent values now. We'll come back to the percentage for better understanding. Okay, let's say cost price when you purchase one tomato is 5 rand, and then you're gonna add profit or markup or profit of maybe 2 rand profit. It means you're gonna sell at 7 rand, right? So this basically means that the selling price is always greater than the cost price, because cost price plus markup, they make selling price. So it means for you, in this case where markup is on selling price, it means they did not give you the cost. Are you with me? They did not give you the cost, for example, but they gave you the selling and they gave you the markup. So it means for you to get the cost, you have to say 7 rand minus 2 rand, you get the 5 rand, right? So even here on this markup is percentages, but we're gonna consider like that to say we are selling at 100%. We added 30% markup, then how much is our cost? So our cost is going to be 100 minus 30, which is going to be 70%. I don't know if you guys are following. If you are following, just put on the chat that I am following. Okay, and then I just did this so that you guys can better understand. I hope you guys are following. And then now in this case, they say you sold goods for 1,000 at 30% markup on selling price, right? So it means this 1,000 is equals to your selling price, which is 100%, right? Which is 100%. Okay, so now remember, nothing changes. Okay, our formula up there, the one we used of the rent value I have, I'm just gonna copy it because we are going to apply it even on the markup on selling. Okay, I'm gonna copy it and then I'll put it here, right? This formula, this is the formula we're going to follow to calculate the missing rent figures or rent values. I hope you guys are following. If you're following, comments I am following right there. And then now we need to calculate what? The cost price in rent. If you want to calculate the cost price in rent, you are going to say the rent value I have, which is 1,000, you multiply by 70, which is the amount, which is the percentage for the amount you want. You divide by 100 because it's the percentage for the amount you have. How much is your cost price right there? How much is your cost price right there? Quickly. Just give me a cost price right there quickly. How much is your cost price and rent? Remember, markup it on selling price. 1,000 multiplied by 1,000 multiplied by 30, because it's the percentage for the amount we want. We divide by